Hello, this is the third video on this channel, and I'm already doing reaction content. And don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. Maybe I don't know. I can't say. But yeah, this is a reaction channel. Kind of a weird follow to my last video about the World Cup. But you know what I said came to pass. Kylian Mbappe became the all-time top scorer. I didn't think it happened like that, but it happened like that. And Spain beat Argentina in a game that was embarrassingly easy. So I mean, I called it. I called that Spain would beat France easily, comfortably, because of France's midfield and their 4-2-4, and I'm not going to get into that. And I called that Spain would beat Argentina because Spain would be a competent team that won't screw themselves over. And frankly, a lot of people didn't watch this game or didn't care because Argentina won, but this Spain game is no different than what happened against Switzerland. And well, that time Ballon got himself sent off because he was dumb, and now Spain didn't do anything like that. But if you were gonna watch a YouTube video called "Ranking Every Ballon d'Or Winner, Runner-Up since 2007," an interesting kind, I guess, by Michi, Michi. This is his video. Should give him a watch. You know, let's get started. I think the first is going to be Ronaldo 2007, and I have some thoughts on that, and I'm probably going to agree with where he's going for most of this, but so I'm not going to talk for large spaces, but I assume I'm probably going to have a couple of disagreements here, and then I'll say something. And if it's just one of those videos where someone just sits there and basically steals content, you're not going to be seeing this. So let's start.
In the year 2007, Ricardo Kaká won the Ballon d'Or, the first and only Ballon d'Or of his career while playing for AC Milan. Of course, Kaká won the UCL with AC Milan, had a historic season. He was the rightful Ballon d'Or, but second place was Ronnie. In 07, Ronnie, in 52 games, in the calendar year of 2007, in 52 games, he had 29 goals and 15 assists. 44 GA in 52 games. That's pretty good. He also won the Community Shield and the Premier League in 07. Ronnie had a good season, but Kaká was always going to win it. It's not an elite season from Ronnie. He obviously went on to have much better seasons that we'll talk about obviously in this video. For me, he was just a default runner-up. He was the second best in the world that year, but he was not close to Kaká, who was just infinitely better. I mean, Kaká was just amazing that year. He was going to win the Ballon d'Or no matter what because he won the UCL, and that Milan team was really, really good. Obviously, they got revenge for what happened in 05 against Liverpool. They got revenge in 07, beat Liverpool 2-0 in Athens. So Ronaldo, even though he won the Premier League, even though he won the Community Shield, of course, which is a good trophy, but not that impressive of a trophy, and even though he had 44 GA, not even playing really as a striker. I mean, he wasn't a striker at this point. He was still a left midfielder, playing a little bit deeper. I would say he was just a default runner-up because while it was a good season, it was nowhere near a historic season from Ronaldo for me to put it anywhere above default runner-up. I mean, it just wasn't a robbery. It wasn't really an elite season, especially by Ronaldo standards. So he's just going to go in default runner-up for me. In 2008,
So I'm gonna stop at that. I think for a winger, which he wasn't a winger, he was a wide midfielder. And yes, actually, no, never mind. I think by this point, because Van Nistelrooy had left, and there was more of a goal scoring influence that he needed to fill up, Ronaldo was actually now a winger. I think for a winger, what 23 goals and 17 assists and 50, that's elite. It's an elite season for any player. But I obviously, it's not going to put you in GOAT debate. But he didn't mention it here. But what really killed Ronaldo is actually what's going to kill him in 2009 is where he had a duel with Kaká in 2007. Like he's going to have a duel next 2009, and I mean Kaká styled on him, and that's just it. He styled on him. He styled on Henze and Evra. I mean, it was sad. I mean, not sad, but like it was like you lose the head to head, it's over. And he shouldn't have won it because he lost the head to head, even though he was the best player in the world in 2007. He really was. He was truly the best player in the world in 2007. But when you go up against your competition and they just style all over you over two legs, it's almost impossible to justify having you win it over them. So yeah, I agree with this. Default runner up.
Lionel Messi finished second in the Ballon d'Or, of course, Ronaldo, who went on to win it while playing for Man United. Messi, this was a good season for Messi. He won the gold medal with Argentina. That's about it. He had 22 goals and 18 assists in all comps.
Let's stop that. I don't think you should have mentioned that gold medal because the world Unlike unlike in other sports, the Olympics and football is completely and utterly meaningless trophy, and that's it's not a trophy, it's a medal. It's an utterly meaningless award, and I'm not saying that to be like dismissive of it. It literally does mean nothing. Like it's not a trophy. It's the game that you play, the players playing it. It doesn't count towards their official career tally. Like for all intents and purposes, those games never happened in Lionel Messi's pro career.
Um, that's not bad, but obviously for Messi standards, he went on to have much better numbers in his career and only winning an Olympic gold medal. Of course, that was Rijkaard's last season with Barcelona where they went trophyless. So Ronaldo won the Premier League. He won a double. He won, yeah, he won the double obviously with United, winning the Premier League, winning the Champions League, scoring in Moscow. He had a fantastic UCL campaign. Ronaldo was the rightful winner of the Ballon d'Or that year. So for me, Messi, despite having good numbers, I mean, 22 goals, 18 assists, whatever he was there, like 19 or 20 years old or 21 years old is ridiculous. But like Ronaldo in '07, we saw much better seasons from Messi later on in his career. You know, like this Messi was still so young. He really came into his own the next season. So even though Messi was good and starting to come into his own and starting to show that he was at one point going to be the best player in the world very soon in 2008, it wasn't the same Messi that we saw in the years after when he started winning Ballon d'Ors all those years in a row. Next up, we have Ronaldo Ronnie in 2009. Another Ronaldo season. So many Messi and Ronaldo seasons, man. It's actually crazy how these guys just ran the sport for over a decade. We'll never see anything like this again. We will never see anything like this again. But anyway, Ronaldo in 2009 in the calendar year played 49 games. He had 30 goals and 9 assists in all comps. It was a good season for Ronaldo, but you know he split time between United and Real Madrid. It wasn't his best season. I mean, it really wasn't his best season at all. I don't think this is an elite season from Ronaldo at all. I think again it's going to go in default runner-up. I think Ronaldo was just a default runner-up. He was the second best in the world to Messi that year. But again, he won the Premier League. He did win the League Cup with obviously United in his final season. But when you look at Messi, Messi won the treble with Barcelona, won a sextuple with Barcelona, and Messi had a historic season. So there was no universe for Ronaldo, especially after he lost that game in Rome. There was no way Ronaldo was going to win this Ballon d'Or over Messi, who had better numbers, better trophies, was the better player at this point. So Ronaldo in 2009, even though he had a really, really good season, obviously for most players, 30 goals and 9 assists in the calendar years, maybe their career year. But for a guy like Ronaldo, it wasn't really that. So he was a default runner-up for me. It wasn't an elite season at all. It's gonna go in default runner-up. Next up, we have Andres Iniesta, who in the calendar year of 2010 played 59 games. He had 9 goals and 15 assists in all comps. He of course won the FIFA World Cup, scoring the winning goal to bring Spain their first and only World Cup in their history. He finished second to his teammate, of course, Lionel Messi. People talk about this season from Iniesta. Look, I love Andres Iniesta. Everybody talks about, oh, Schneider should have won it. But Iniesta's the guy who actually finished second. It wasn't even Schneider. It was Iniesta who finished second. People forget that because Schneider spent so much time talking shit about how he should have won the Ballon d'Or. He doesn't even remember that he didn't even finish second. It was Iniesta who finished second. But anyway, as somebody who watched every Barcelona game that season, I'll tell you this right now. Iniesta was at no point better than Messi that season. Messi's numbers were insane. Obviously, Iniesta won the World Cup. But Iniesta, I mean, you could argue he wasn't even Spain's best player in that World Cup. It might have gone to David Villa. Or even Xavi, in my opinion, was a better player in that World Cup than Iniesta because Iniesta came into that World Cup with injuries. People don't talk about that. Iniesta only started 20 of Barcelona's games. He only started 20 games in the calendar year 2010 for Barcelona. He picked up an injury. He had like a thigh issue in March, and then he picked up another injury in April. He went into the World Cup limping. Iniesta missed a lot of games that year. He wasn't healthy. And 9 goals and 15 assists is great. Look, I love Andres Iniesta. I hate that I have to sit here and shit talk him, but it's just a default runner-up season. You're coming up against prime Messi, who had over 60 GA in all comps. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we talking about here? It's again a default runner-up. Like every season up until this point has been a default runner-up. They had no argument. Like, and I don't even think they were elite seasons. I don't think Iniesta's season was elite because again he missed most of the season. Iniesta's best seasons are 2012, 2013. Those are Iniesta seasons where you look at it and say, okay, if Messi and Ronaldo didn't exist, he would have won the Ballon d'Or. But in 2010, again, 9 goals, 15 assists is great. But it's not the same, bro. Like it's really not the same as what Messi was doing. So for me, it's just I don't know. I love Iniesta, but there's no argument that he should have won the Ballon d'Or this year. And in 2011, we have Ronaldo.
Actually, stopping on that 2010 part, honestly, the biggest controversy of this Ballon d'Or is something that doesn't get mentioned by a lot of people, but Diego Milito did not get nominated. On the 30-man shortlist, Diego Milito did not make it. And that's the biggest injustice. Also, Ronaldo finishing sixth. It's one of those things where I'm like, what's going on here? because does the World Cup matter or does it not matter? Because it doesn't matter because Messi won it. But like people who were positioned second through fifth, they got there. Like you have Iniesta, you have Xavi, I think Diego Forlan. Those players are there because of the World Cup, and it's like now wait a minute. Like does it matter or does it not matter? But either way, Ronaldo finishing sixth is bad, but most importantly, Diego Milito was not nominated.
In 2011, the calendar year, Ronaldo played 60 games, right? And he scored 60 goals and had 17 assists in the calendar year of 2011. Real Madrid, of course, only won one trophy, which is the Copa del Rey. But it's just like, again, elite, but no argument. Or I would say, honestly, there should be a new tier, victim of the Messi era, because again, he was elite. Ronaldo was so good in 2011. I mean, 60 goals and 17 assists. I would argue this is his prime when it comes to just the way that he played. He was so unplayable that first year with Jose Mourinho. And of course, he scored the winner at the Mestalla to prevent Barca from winning a treble in 2011. I mean, he did that. That goal, I mean, to this day, it breaks my heart. I see fucking Pinto and goal. I see the cross coming in, and I'm like, dude, what was that? How is nobody marking him? You know what I mean? Like, he just slept like a salmon and put it past Pinto. It sucks, right? I hated that. But he scored that goal, and that's great. 60 goals and 17 assists. He became a monster. Like after all the years of Messi winning the Ballon d'Or, he was like, you know what? It's time for me to do it.
I have to disagree on this little part where he says it was his prime. I don't think so. He simply just didn't affect big games enough. Absolutely, and that's mostly just due to Mourinho honestly giving up on trying to play football with Barcelona, having a midfield that consisted of Lassana Diarra, Sami Khedira, and then Xabi Alonso, Sami Khedira. Which the whole point of that midfield was to get the ball. I thought you actually put Pepe in the six, which actually worked, until Dani Alves dove and Pepe got sent off and it ruined everything. But really, he just gave up trying to play ball with them, which we know intelligent or non-intelligent. But if you want to do that, you got to play counter pressing against a team like Barcelona, and like he just couldn't affect anything. And to be fair, I was gonna say that his big game record wasn't all that well, but there were only two good teams in world football in the 10-11 slash 2011 era. Um, yeah, no, yeah, it's also it just didn't affect enough. Just I mean, what I was trying to give you guys absolutely styled on in the Spanish Super Cup, which is like a dang shame. And honestly, that 2011 season is Messi's prime. It's Messi's prime. It's his club prime. And weirdly enough, he goes to Copa America and scores zero goals. He goes to Copa America, scores zero goals, and it's like oof, oof. People like to say 2019 is his prime. You're wrong. It's not. It's not at all. But most importantly, he also went to Copa America and scored one goal. He seems to really follow his good career years, club level or club seasons, I guess, and then just ended with a terrible international campaign. But really, yeah, no, I disagree. Ronaldo's kind of it's weird because my favorite aesthetic from him at Real Madrid is the 09-10 season. But the issue, because he would move from the right wing to the left wing, but the issue though is that the issue really was that he didn't affect the games enough, and he's starting to now. But in 2012 is when he actually starts to do that, and that's probably so it's either 2012 or 2014 actually for Ronaldo where he actually hits his prime for Real Madrid because he starts to affect games truly. I guess 2013 is there too, but really it's 2012. It's 2012.
It. And he tried, but again, you're going up against Messi in 2011, which is arguably Messi's best season. Messi won more trophies. Messi had better numbers. You know what I mean? Like Messi was part of the greatest team ever, arguably. Ronaldo was great in 2011, but again, it's crazy because 60 goals and 17 assists in a calendar year is ridiculous. I mean, think about that for a second. The guy scored he had 77 goal contributions in a calendar year. It's not normal, but again, what Messi did was that crazy that this is and it wasn't a robbery. This is not a robbery. It's just an elite season, but there's no argument. There's no argument to be made that he should have won the Ballon d'Or over Messi that year. It just can't. But again, a fantastic season from Ronnie. He was unplayable that year, but unfortunately, the guy in Catalonia, Barcelona, wearing red and blue, he was even more unplayable and beat him head to head basically every time they played, except for that one. They tied in the second leg of the UCL at the Camp Nou, and they tied in the league game. Obviously, at the Santiago Bernabeu, where Messi scored the pen, Ronaldo scored the pen. It was back-to-back pens. That was the game after, obviously, the 5-0 happened in November, and then that game, I think, was in March or something, but it was that stretch where they were playing in the Copa del Rey. And also, yeah, like I said, Ronaldo did beat him, obviously, and scored against them in the Copa del Rey, but basically, like Messi beat him head-to-head, 2 out of 3, or whatever it is. Anyway, point is, Messi was better. He was right for Ballon d'Or, but Ronaldo was elite. No mistake about it. In the year 2012, Lionel Messi won the Ballon d'Or for the 4th straight year, and Cristiano Ronaldo finished second to Lionel Messi in Ballon d'Or voting for the 3rd time in 4 years.
And this one is where my bias is going to show up a little bit because I think this is probably the greatest example of empty calories from for Messi because in a weird way, right? This is his best single, at least most productive season. It's not his best, 2011 is. However, when it comes to like the big games, he just wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like he lost the duels against Ronaldo, pretty much all of them, except the Copa del Rey one. Also, weird statistic if you don't know, Lionel Messi has never scored against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey, which is like ever. It's just that he's never done it, which is interesting. So, you have the Calma Clasico doesn't score in that, and then after that, Busquets I think gave yeah I think it was Busquets. Either way, they gave he gave an interview, and he said like after that the league was decided, so we tried our best to get Messi the golden boot, and he got it. And good for him. He scored like a hat trick, two or three hat tricks like after that game, after the league was decided. Um, and then you have the beginning of the 12-13 season. You could say that Barcelona won the league at the beginning of that season, so the late 2012 seals the league title for 2013. However, you know the issue is that Ronaldo's with 30 less goals, and that's a lot. That's a lot. But if he got this Ballon d'Or, I'd be like, mm, mm. But then again, you could say I guess he made up for it the next year with his empty calorie goals, which is it's like, damn you, Jose Mourinho.
For the 3rd time in 4 years. And similar to 2011, Ronaldo was once again amazing. He just came up against Messi at the peak of his powers, and he was never going to win the Ballon d'Or over Messi. Even with the numbers he put up, he played 71 games in the calendar year 2012. Listen to this. He played 71 games. Again, in 2011, he played 60 games, had over 70 GA, insane. In 2012, he played 71 games. He scored 63 goals, so more than obviously than in 2011, but with more games. He scored 63 goals, which is insane, and he had 13 assists. 76 GA in 71 games. What these guys were doing at this time, like I've said, we'll never see anything like it again. I don't care who it is. We will never see numbers like this again. I mean, these guys, the fact that you put up 73 goals and assists, and you win La Liga, and you win the Spanish Super Cup, and you still finish second in Ballon d'Or, and nobody thinks it was a robbery. At least I don't think it was a robbery. Most people don't think it was a robbery because Messi was that much better. I mean, Messi was that like.
Actually, let me amend what I said earlier about him potentially winning it. The thing about that is, right, that would make a lot more sense if the Ballon d'Or were seasonal. So if he would have won the Ballon d'Or if it was the 11-12 season, but he would have lost the next one if it was the 12-13. It's kind of what I'm trying to get at.
It's just insane. Obviously, Real Madrid had a historic La Liga season, winning it with 100 points under Jose Mourinho, and they also won the Spanish Super Cup. Messi won the Copa del Rey in Pep's last season. Both teams got knocked out in the UCL semifinals. Barcelona, of course, finished second in La Liga. But again, Messi's numbers were so overwhelming. I mean, it's arguably the greatest season any footballer's ever had. When it comes to output, it is the greatest season any footballer's ever had. Nobody will, in my opinion, ever come close to what Messi did in the calendar year of 2012.
But again, empty calories. You know what I mean? Just empty calories through and through. The first half of the season, he blows it. Like he personally blows it against Chelsea, and then he loses to Ronaldo in I think April. Was it April, May, whatever? And then loses the Spanish Super Cup to Ronaldo, and then it's like most of the payoff. And you won the Copa del Rey, that's nice, but you know what I mean for 91 goals, kind of a weird return. But most of these goals, at least most of the payoff for his 2012 goals, actually comes in 2013 because of the league title. But again, I'm repeating myself.
But again, Ronaldo, the fact that he had 73 GA and nobody thinks he was, or 76, sorry, GA, and nobody thinks it was a robbery, it's a testament to how good Messi was at the time. But again, it's elite, but there's no argument that he should have won it. It's an elite season. It's one of the greatest seasons you'll ever see from a player. It's one of the greatest seasons you will ever see from a player. But again, nobody thinks Ronaldo was the rightful Ballon d'Or of the year. And if you do, you're biased, or you didn't watch football at the time. Because if you actually watched football in 2012, which I did, and a lot of people watching this video did as well, you know that even though he was amazing, that guy in Barcelona was just that much better, and he deserved to win it. In the year 2013, Ronaldo finally put an end to Messi's dominance in the Ballon d'Or. He actually won it in 2013, and Messi finished second. Messi in 47 games had 45 goals and 16 assists. He won La Liga. He won the Supercopa de España. Messi was fantastic in 2013, but as we know, Messi dealt with a lot of injuries that season. You know, he dealt with a lot of injuries. And Ronaldo had a trophy this season, but he scored so many goals. Again, this is similar to 2010. Everybody talks about how Ribery should have won it or how Schneider should have won it, but those guys didn't even come in second. Messi came in second in 2013, and Iniesta came in second in 2010. So again, it's one of those narratives I don't understand. To me, look, Messi, if he wouldn't have gotten injured, I think he would have won the Ballon d'Or because he was on pace to break the record that he set the year before when it comes to goals. The amount of goals that he was scoring, but he dealt with a lot. He dealt with a lot of injuries. I think it was that thigh injury that he had. I think it was in November or something that kept him out for a long time. So even though Messi's numbers were good, 45 goals and obviously 16 assists, he did have to miss a lot of time. To me, this is I'm not like because of the injuries, I'm tempted to put it in the default runner-up, but I do think it was still an elite season for Messi. It wasn't a robbery. I think Ronaldo was the rightful winner, even though again they won trophyless that year, and UEFA or FIFA extended the voting, and because of after for the qualifiers, which nobody talks about. Everybody talks about Messi is FIFA's favorite boy, but nobody talks about that for Ronaldo. I mean, a lot of people do talk about it, but they don't bring it up enough. But anyway, Messi in 2013 again, 45 goals, 16 assists. That's great. I don't think it was a robbery personally, but I also don't know if I'm going to put it in the default runner-up. But I am going to put it in the default runner-up because the injuries, man. The injuries just kept him out for a long time. So I don't expect Messi to win the Ballon d'Or this year. In 2014, though, Messi played 66 games. He had 58 goals and 22 assists in all comps. Of course, Barcelona this season went trophyless. Lost the Copa del Rey final to Real Madrid. Didn't win La Liga. Atletico Madrid won La Liga. And, of course, got knocked out in the UCL by Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals. So, it's great. It's awesome. But anyway, in 2014, Messi did not win a single trophy. His numbers were great, man. 58 goals and 22 assists. We're talking about 70 GA in 66 games. 70 GA in 66 games. And, of course, this season, the biggest accomplishment of Messi's year, or the best thing he did, was take Argentina to the World Cup final. And, of course, they couldn't win that World Cup. Messi was the golden ball.
No, 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 no. I don't like that framing. No, I do not. I don't like that framing at all. I mean, he was a. I think this is the issue: is that very few people have actually taken a team to anything. The last time was probably Diego in '86. Sure. I mean, can you really take your team to a final if you get one GA in the knockout stage? And by one GA, I'm being nice. He got an assist. He got an assist to Di Maria against Switzerland in the round of 16. Higuain scores a goal against Belgium, and Argentina's defense is actually what took them to that final. They held out, no goals conceded in the knockout stages until Germany scored when the 112th minute. I think they set like a record. You know what I mean? So Messi didn't take his team to anything. He was part of a solidly defensive team, and he had talented teammates that could help. I don't think again no player has taken a team to anything except since Diego in '86. So that framing, I don't like it. I don't like that framing at all. And most importantly, he didn't deserve that golden ball. You can't be the best player of the tournament if you don't score in the knockout stage. You just can't. And not like he did much else to do, to help out. And personally, I don't know who I would give it to. There's some arguments here, but people say Mueller. I don't think so, man. Most of his goals came against Portugal in the group stage, the first game. Um, James, I think he just went out too quick. I think I would have given it to probably Tony Kroos, and if not Tony Kroos, then maybe like Manuel Neuer. And you could say, oh, goalie having the golden ball. Oliver Kahn won it in 2002, and he made like a mistake in the final. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not new, especially for German keepers. But that framing of Messi took into the final is not right. It's dishonest. It's not right. That defense took them to that final.
Of that World Cup, but still, they couldn't win it. So Messi finished second to Ronaldo, who of course won it after winning the UCL and also winning the Copa del Rey with Real Madrid. And again, this to me, it's an elite season, but there's no argument that Messi should have won it, in my opinion, because Ronaldo had a historic season. He had 17 goals in the UCL. He had 17 goals in the Champions League. he scored the goals against Bayern Munich in the second leg of the Allianz Arena. Ronaldo was ridiculous, man. Ronaldo, one of the few seasons I can actually say I think Ronaldo was, there was an argument to be made that he was better than Messi. I don't think he was personally. I don't think it was ever a year that he was better than Messi. But in 2014, Ronaldo was that type of player where you were like, damn, it's actually fucking close right now. And they went on to win La Liga. Of course, Ronaldo scored in that final in Lisbon. He had 17 goals in the UCL campaign. 17 goals is insane. Like just a ridiculous amount of.
Obviously, that whole Ronaldo never led Messi thing. It's personal taste. Um, but no, 2013, 2014, 2007. I mean, you can't even argue. Uh, again, that's personal taste too. That's personal taste too. I also think he was better in 2012. Also, just personal taste. Still support Messi winning that Ballon d'Or. These are all just personal taste things.
Goals in the UCL, and just the numbers he put up as a whole were just crazy. So again, for me, even though I think Messi was great, 70 G in 66 games, got his.
And for that 2012 thing, it's mostly because again, just look at Messi's big game record that year, man. It's just terrible. Like it is actually really bad. It's really really bad. And I think the Chelsea again, Chelsea's not even. I don't want to say it's a big game because Chelsea was so far like below Barcelona's level, and he missed a penalty. All these things, man. It's yeah, no. It's like no. Again, that's why I call that season probably the biggest. Again, even more so than Ronaldo's 12-13 because he had 12-13, 2013 because he had big game moments. But even then, he himself, you know what I mean? That 2013, like late 2013. Ooh, not so good in the big games, except against what's his face? I think Sweden. That was a pretty big game for Portugal. He stepped up in that. But for Messi in 2012, I mean, his big game record is just poor, poor. Probably best big game performance again came in late 2012, but for early 2012, I mean, jeez Louise. By big game, I don't just mean like late into the Champions League or this. I mean like it's a team of comparable level, and it's just not good. It's 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 really bad actually. But yeah, that's really why I'm saying that about Messi's 2012.
Team to the World Cup final. That's amazing, but I don't think it's good enough to go in daylight robbery. So it's going to go in elite, but no argument that he should have won it, in my opinion. Next up, we have 2015 Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo in 2015 is tricky because he had a great season. I mean, the guy played 57 games. He had 57 goals and 17 assists. But Real Madrid didn't win a trophy that year. And I remember watching Ronaldo this season.
And most of that is actually due to two factors. Um, Key injuries in the midfield, and most importantly, Ronaldo peaked just like at the wrong times. Um, this is a stat you're not gonna believe, but Ronaldo had got to 20 league goals before Messi got to 10. Messi got to 30 before Ronaldo got to 30, and and Messi actually, I think he crossed the 40 barrier before Ronaldo himself actually got there. And eventually, finished ahead of him, and it's just that middle of the season, man. There's a back-breaking time for Ronaldo to not to kind of just dip. So Messi peaked at the right times. Again, this is mostly 2014, is that 20 goal stuff, but that tells you, the start of the year, like February to Marchish, was kind of you took a relative slump, combined with key injuries in the midfield. That's really the reason why Real Madrid didn't win anything. And also got knocked out by Atletico Madrid in the round of 32 of the Copa del Rey, and Carlos the coach, and just go look up Carlo Ancelotti's record against Diego Simeone, and you find yourself, ooh, what the heck? It's we also lost the Spanish again. This is a 2014 thing. Also lost the Spanish Super Cup to Atletico Madrid. I mean, Carlos' record against Simeone is just horrible. It's terrible. We lost 4-0 to them that season. I don't know why I'm going to this tangent, but yeah, no, it's not so good. But yeah, mostly like I said, Ronaldo peaking at the wrong times, and Carlos issues with Diego Simeone, and midfield issues. Also, Ronaldo missed a penalty against Gary Neville's Valencia that led to a draw that was essentially the backbreaker. So again, just key moments and like general areas of peaking. which is, I'll make a video about peaking at the right time. It'll be about Erling Haaland, but that's just why Madrid didn't win anything.
And it was after like he suffered that injury. But I remember watching Ronaldo this season. And I was like, man, this guy again, he's getting fucked because Messi exists because he was so good. I honestly could argue this might be the greatest season of Ronaldo's career where he didn't win the Ballon d'Or. He was that good in 2015, and his numbers back it up.
I disagree. It's 2012 again, peaking at the right times. Peaking at the right time. You got to peak at the right time, and Ronaldo just didn't. 2015 was a rough one, man. We lost 4-0 to Barcelona that year. Messi was injured, so getting under Rafa Benitez, so it gets all squirrely. The Ballon d'Or it's weird because the Ballon d'Or is touted as a calendar year award, but it's not. It's a season. It's always been a seasonal award. Like by May, all the important trophies of that year are handed out. So Ronaldo lost the Ballon d'Or in May. It didn't really matter what he could have scored 100 goals from. Actually, well, that might have won him the Ballon d'Or at the point. So it's just not it's never really been a yearly award, so it's always been a seasonal one, really. But yeah, I disagree. It's 2012, easily 2012. Like I said before, peaked at the wrong time. It's just, you know what I mean?
The only problem is, Messi was around. Messi was around. So again, it's an elite season, but there's no argument he should have won it because Messi won the treble. And Messi had arguably the greatest season of his career. After seeing Ronaldo win it for a couple years, Messi said, you know what, enough of that, bro. Enough of that. You got yours, right? You got yours. It's time for me now. And Messi went on to win the treble and, of course, was with MSN, the greatest front three ever. And Ronaldo didn't win a single trophy. Now, again, his numbers individually were great, but Real Madrid couldn't win. Like I said, Barcelona won everything. I keep saying that. Barcelona won everything, of course. And Ronaldo was great individually. But to me, it wasn't really a default runner-up because I feel like that's almost default runner-up is almost like, yeah, like somebody had to finish second, right? This is an elite season, but there's no argument he should have won it. So for me, Ronaldo, even though his numbers were really, really good, 57 goals and 17 assists is amazing. In 57 games, I mean, holy shit, I just realized that. 57 goals and 17 assists in 57 games in the calendar year of 2015. Oh my God, that's what is that? 6-7? No. That's 67. I'm doing the math in my head. So 67 plus 7 is 74. That's 70. That's how I do math. So when it's like, if it's 17, I go 10. So 57 plus 10 is 67, and then I go 7. It's 60. Whatever it is. Anyway, 74 goals in 57 games. 74 goals and assists in 57 games is ridiculous. But again, there was no argument he should have won the Ballon d'Or that year. Next up, we have Messi in the calendar year of 2016. In 2016, Messi played 62 games. He scored 59 goals and had 31 assists. Barcelona won La Liga, they won the Copa del Rey, and they won the Supercopa España. Again, those numbers are ridiculous, but Ronaldo won the Euro with Portugal, winning them their first major trophy in their history in 2016, and also won number 11 for Real Madrid, right? And his numbers were great too. And Messi, if you remember, in 2016, he had the groin injuries. He had some issues. I think he had a thigh injury as well, but I know he had the groin issue. And he missed a lot of games that year. Even though he played 62 games, he missed a lot of games that year. And like I said, Ronaldo went on to win the Euro and went on to win the UCL. I mean, you can't really compete with those trophies. And Ronaldo's numbers were comparable to Messi's. I think Messi's numbers were actually better, but they were comparable. So when it's comparable and this guy wins two huge trophies, I mean, you're winning the European Cup and the other European Cup. It's like, holy shit, bro. So for Messi, people talk about how this is a robbery. Again, I don't think it's a robbery because I don't operate in that mindset of, okay, if my guy didn't win it, it's a robbery. I'm not, what I mean? I'm not 11 years old. I love Messi, but I can also admit when I think he didn't deserve to win the Ballon d'Or. And I'm doing it a lot in this video. So for me, again, it's an elite season. Most of these guys' seasons are going to go in a leap on argument once they got to their prime. The only one that's not is Messi in 2013 because he played way less games. In this season, Messi played 62 games. In 2013, Messi played like 45. He played significantly more games. And his goals were great too. I mean, he scored a bunch of goals, but Ronaldo winning the Euro and being the best player for Portugal in that tournament and being the best player for Real Madrid in the UCL in 2016, he did deserve to win it. But again, no argument that Messi was elite. These are first place in any other era except this one. Next up, we have Messi once again in 2017, finishing second to Ronaldo. I'm not gonna lie, as a Messi fan at this time, seeing Messi finish second back-to-back years, I was like, okay, this is what Ronaldo fans felt like for all those years. But they actually felt that in 3 out of 4 years. But anyway, Messi in 2017, again, listen to these numbers, man. In the 2017 calendar year, Messi played 64 games, 54 goals and 16 assists. Like, what are we talking about here? And Barcelona won the Copa del Rey. Of course, Barcelona won the Copa del Rey, and Neymar and Luis Enriquez last year, obviously at the club. It's an elite season, but Ronaldo in 2017, who was the eventual winner, of course, who ended up winning his fifth and final Ballon d'Or of his career, was noodle hair Ronaldo. You know what I mean? That was noodle hair Ronaldo. That is the most iconic version, arguably, of Ronaldo. That one, or maybe '08 United with the with the kid with the white thing here in the back. But anyway, that was noodle hair Ronaldo. So even like as a Messi lover, of course, and I think Messi could have won the Ballon d'Or this year. There was definitely an argument that he maybe should have won it, but there really wasn't because Ronaldo won the UCL. They won La Liga. That's the greatest Madrid team that I've ever seen. Honestly, 2017 Real Madrid has. It's like a team where you're just like, okay, that's a historic team. Like, yeah, the 2016 team was good, 2018 was good, but 2017 Real Madrid was the peak of the powers of all those guys. Of Zidane,
That again, it's one of those things where you kind of see that people again. So it's always been seasonal, and he might be right about 16, 17 Real Madrid. But Real Madrid lost La Liga at the end of 2017, 15 points adrift. It completely fell apart. We started so well. Dunking at Barcelona, but then after that Ronaldo suspension, the team just fell apart. Suspended for 5 games because he shoved the goalie and the referee, after that bogus double yellow that he got. And then, yeah, no, see, that's the thing about 2017 Real Madrid. People thinking they say that, but they're thinking about 16, 17, not 2017. Because 2017 Real Madrid is truly, at the end of the year, the second half of 2017, is a truly diabolical team, and not in the good way. So, again, it's one of those things where people, again, because the important stuff is handed out by May. So that's kind of what your impression goes, but no. No, 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 no. The best Real Madrid team is probably. This is an interesting one. The best Real Madrid team of the century is probably what? This is a good question. I really have to think about this. The best Real Madrid team, 2022. For a calendar year, the best Real Madrid team is 2022 Real Madrid. And even then, we lost 4-0 to Barcelona. Jeez, Xavi's Barcelona. 4-0. Oh my god, it should have been more than 4, by the way. But yeah, yeah, the best Real Madrid team that I personally have seen for an entire calendar year is either 2022 Real Madrid or 2012 Real Madrid. But now that 2017 nonsense, I won't have it.
of Modric, of Cruz, of Casemiro, of Varane, of Ramos, of Ronaldo, who was instrumental in Real Madrid obviously winning the UCL. His knockout game performances in the UCL, offside goals or not, were historic. The hat trick against Real Madrid and past Atletico Madrid, the hat trick against Atletico Madrid. Get it together, bro. And past Jan Oblak. He had the goals against Norwich. He had the double in the final in Cardiff. Past Buffon. Again, Messi season was elite, but there is no argument that Messi should have won it, in my opinion. Now we have Ronaldo in 2018. In 2018, Ronaldo played 53 games. He had 49 goals and 13 assists. This is the one for me that's going to go in daylight robbery.
I completely agree. And this Ballon d'Or, I remember I was so confused. Like I couldn't even believe this was happening when it happened, and that was when I realized that this award. That was like when I realized this award is completely it's BS. And because again, I'm gonna betray my age here, but for my entire life for my entire footballing life that I've been aware of, it was either Messi or it was Ronaldo. And even though I thought that Ronaldo should be winning it, I was always willing to completely accept someone, Ronaldo not winning because Messi's a player on that level. But this one, I was just confused. And again, there's no argument. There's no argument. I feel like people don't remember 2018 Luka Modric because I remember 2018 Luka Modric in Real Madrid, and I'm telling you, he wasn't better than Toni Kroos, and he was nowhere near the Ballon d'Or. Like again, not like, this actually led to my you know discovery and finding that that's what yeah I found out like R9 won it in 2002 for 12 goals. Like what's going on here? What's going on? What's going on? So that's actually the year I realized this award is complete BS. It means nothing, and really it just lucked out. You know what I mean? It lucked out because it was just Messi and Ronaldo. So even if you could give it to one or the other, people would be able to be okay with it. But this award has always been, it's always been bad. Look at the history. Not Thierry Henry, because Pavel Nedved really did deserve it, and get different eras, different roles. But this one was like, what the heck's going on here? Because I know Luka Modric in 2018. That's it's like no, it's not the best player in the world, and Messi finishes what, fifth. Mohamed Salah is not even in the top five. It's absurd. It's absurd to me. It's absurd to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And Luka Modric didn't just win it, man. He won it by a lot, by a lot. Like he won it by a lot. It wasn't even close. Which is like what? What's going on here, bro? He didn't even win the World Cup. What's going on here? And people could say that he took what do you call it? He took Croatia to the World Cup. It's like, but that's not true. It's not true. He was part of a team that was a good team that got the easy side of the bracket because they won their group, crushed Argentina, and Argentina's a terrible team. So yeah, yeah, and they go to the final. They beat and they get crushed by France. It's like you know weirdly enough, though, it's still not the worst World Cup final performance in a final that I've seen because Argentina, a couple of days ago, was way worse than that, and then Croatia got crushed. It's 4-1. But yeah, Luka Modric was part of a solid, was a part of a good team. Perisic, Mandzukic, Rebic, all these people, they stepped up. They stepped up. You know, their defense was always kind of wacky, but it almost never got to their defense because that midfield and all this was really good team. They peaked, you know, at the right times, and the warning signs that this team would be something special were near 2016. Well, even though they got knocked out by Portugal 2016, but these guys were there, and they were really getting better. Much better in their performance in the World Cup 2014. But yeah, no, I just again him winning it. I love Luka Modric. Club legend for Real Madrid. I love the guy, but stop. He's never been the best player in the world. He's never been the best player in the world for 2 months. Never mind a whole year. And most importantly, 2018 also includes the beginning of the 18-19 season. And Real Madrid were catastrophic. Why? Because their best player was gone. Because their best player was gone, and they couldn't find someone on that level to replace him. Modric was there. He performed terribly. He was there. I remember Tony Kroos making a post. Something. It was the caption was, "We finally won a football game. We won a football game because we just didn't win. We were losing all the time and drawing games. We lost, I think, CSK Moscow twice, twice in the Champions League. We lost both to them, home and away. And it's like, oh, and guess who was gone? The best player in the world. That's who. Like so. Mm, mm, it hurts that I have to say this about Luka Modric, but no way, bro. You can't give it to him. I mean, seriously, how do you see Real Madrid completely collapse in Ronaldo's absence and say yes, but their best player is still here? What are you talking about, Fab? Are you crazy? I just whatever.
I believe Ronaldo should have finished first in this Ballon d'Or. He should have won his sixth Ballon d'Or in 2018 over Luka Modric. I understand Luka Modric took Croatia to the World Cup final. He was instrumental in taking Croatia that far. Like obviously Croatia.
Again, he didn't do it. I mean, he was instrumental, as in he was a key part of a team that got far, but he missed his penalty against Russia. People don't remember this. Like he did miss his penalty against Russia, and then they went to the shootout, and I think he scored that one. But again, he almost like blew the game for them. So again, he was a key part of a good team. You know, he was a key part of a good team, but he didn't take anyone anywhere. It's very hard to do that in football. And again, I'll say it again: the only player to really have done that is Diego in '86, and that one tournament was so good. It thrusted him to the GOAT debate. Like, he's in the GOAT debate because of '86. Like you can take, 62. Pele didn't really play in 1962, but you could take 58 away from him, and he'd still be in it for 1970. You could take 1970 away from Pele, and he could still be in the GOAT debate. Maradona is in it because of '86 and nothing else. So yeah, Modric didn't do that. Is what I'm trying to get to.
don't get that far in the World Cup without Luka Modric. And Ronaldo had a disappointing World Cup. I'm not even going to say by his standards because Ronaldo, let's be honest here, guys, even the biggest Ronaldo fan, he has not been great at the World Cup. But
I think this World Cup, for it definitely, in a weird way, in a pound for pound, it probably is his worst, even though it's actually the one he scored the most goals in. But I always struggle to really hate on it. I should really make a video on this. But most important, what I'm trying to get at is he did miss a penalty, I think, against Iran that would have had Portugal win the group and actually go to the easy side of the bracket. And they probably would have gone to the final because they would have gotten Russia and then Croatia, and then it would have been England and Portugal in the semis, and they probably go to France and get massacred. But they probably should have gone. But then again, Portugal was getting dominated by 2018 Spain, and that was 3 shots on target. Ronaldo scored all three. He basically created his own goals, plus an assist from David De Gea. He won his penalty, scored it. He won his free kick, scored it, and you know what I mean. So it's weird, right? Because they should have lost the game against Spain. So they should have never won that group, and they didn't. But they could have won that group, but he missed his penalty. Again, in a weird way, on a pound for pound level, this is probably Ronaldo's worst World Cup, just because he should have performed against Uruguay. But in all honesty, nothing was going to he was never going to win this World Cup because he was going. Isn't he had performed against Uruguay? He would have run into France and Portugal 2018. He getting massacred. I think because Ronaldo is such a good player, people kind of assume that he should be doing a lot of things with Portugal. Look at that team. Just go look at that team. It's a terrible team. It's terrible. His strike partner was fucking. It was Gonzalo Guedes, bro. Like you're not winning anything ever. You will never win. You will never win with these guys. No man will ever win with them. It's fine. You know what I mean? That team is truly not a good team. Got lucky in Euro 2016. Was getting the easy side of the bracket and they won. But if they face France, it's genuinely going to be like a 5-0 because France is probably going to really want to get them back for it. So that team, could they have gone to the World Cup final? I don't even know. Because they should probably get knocked out by Croatia in 2018 because Portugal actually regresses in 2018 because the guys who were there in 2016 they're kind of gone now and Pepe's a bit older. He's not even at Real Madrid anymore, so it gets weird. It gets weird. They probably get eliminated by Croatia in the quarterfinals. So Croatia gets to get back, but even if they don't, you know, if Portugal beats Uruguay, they lose to France 5-0. If they go to the final against France, they're really gonna lose 5-0 because France is never going to let Portugal get away with anything ever again. So especially in 2018. So it's just I would say that it is his most disappointing World Cup on a pound for pound level because of how good he was, but also that team was really bad. So what can you really do with this? So and also Ronaldo's never been good at World Cups. It's like, well, yeah, what are you talking about? You know, it's one of those things where it's like, can you blame him? I don't think people understand that Messi's 2010 Argentina team would straight up be Ronaldo's second best team in a World Cup. It just would be. Like what do you expect Portugal to do in 2010 with the squad that they had? What do you expect them to do in 2014 with Ronaldo having an injury and the squad that they had, and Pepe getting a red card against Germany in the first game, killing their defense? I mean, what do you expect them to do? I think the only World Cups you can really expect Ronaldo to do much in 2006, 2022, and 2026. But as we just saw a couple of days ago, it's like, well, you know what I mean? A lot of these players, not as good as you think they are. And to go on a rant on the Portugal 2022 team, I think it's one of those things where people really expected a lot out of them, but I think most importantly it was just because of the potential of these players. But 4 years on, which player from that team is actually going to do good things? And the answer is like none of them, like absolutely none of them. You know, who? I guess Nuno Mendes was there, right? So he's gone on to do good things, but he wasn't who he is now back then. Um, I've never rated Bruno. I think Bruno's a good litmus test. If you think he's good, I think you just don't know ball. And I never want to talk to you about football ever again. Like he sucks. He sucks. All right. My ultimate thesis on Bruno Fernandez is that he's a guy who can take a sixth place team to fourth place, but he'll never take a second place team to first place. If Bruno Fernandez is a key player in your team, he will always lose. He is the Harry Kane of midfielders. You'll never win with that guy. If you live and die by him, you will die every single time. So I really struggle to blame him for 2022, honestly. But again, oh man, this is so not the video for that, but I'm gonna rant on it anyways. But this in the Morocco game, which Portugal should have been 3-0 down in by halftime. Morocco honestly was also the best team at the World Cup. Injuries that started at the end of the Portugal game just cascaded into the France game, and then they were done. But honestly, if you turn off injuries and you give them a semi-decent striker, they win the World Cup. They were the best team. Um, but what's important in this moment in the Portugal game against Morocco, where Morocco just had to sit back for whatever reason against Portugal. I guess they're just scared because their nose on now. They clear the ball. Portugal gets the ball back. They give it to Bruno. He has 40 yards of space to run. He takes the ball. He takes like 2 touches. He blasts the ball to the Moroccans. And the Moroccans take the ball and clear it again. So this game's over. That was around like the 60th, 70th minute. He's the Harry Kane of midfielders. So really, the only World Cup you can really say, oh, I really wish that it went better. 2006. The only World Cup that he could have won was 2006. Not much you could have done in 2014 and 2010. Maybe some performances could have been, yeah, 2022. It's not a great one, but that team itself was not a good team. And 4 years on, tell me one player who genuinely was good then and is good now. Not any. Jean Felix is in Asia. Who knew that would be like 2022 was actually going to be Rafael Leon's peak? You know what I mean? And actually, I have a video idea about that too. And then you have who else? Gonzalo Ramos. Luis Enrique would rather start. Never mind. I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm trying to say. Something. He'd rather start literally anybody else than Gonzalo Ramos. He's at Milan now. Jeez Louise. It's just you got Otavio. Who? He's in Saudi Arabia now. You have jeez Louise. You have João Mario. I think he's still there. You have Danilo Pereira. Jeez Louise, man. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Like these guys have not come good. So you can't really expect him to do much with these guys. Yeah, again, this is a weird rant in this middle of this year that has actually had nothing to do with this. But yeah, yeah. Julian Alvarez would straight up be the best striker Ronaldo's ever played with for the national team, and that's a fact.
Ronaldo had a disappointing World Cup, especially for the caliber of player that he was at the time. He was still at his peak. And obviously, he split the season between Juventus and Real Madrid, the calendar year. Sorry, he split the calendar year between Juventus and Real Madrid. But still, 53 games, 49 goals, 13 assists. He was, the best player in the Champions League. Again, with so many huge performances. I think he should have won it. And again, people from Croatia might get mad at me, but Ronaldo, they won the same amount of trophies. They won the same trophies. Like, Modric didn't win the World Cup, and he won the Golden Ball in the World Cup. But again, for me, Ronaldo should have won this Ballon d'Or. He should have won it 100%. And again, I can admit that because at this point he would have actually had more Ballon d'Ors than Messi if he would have won it, and I wouldn't have cared. Because again, I think Ronaldo deserved to win it. I think it was a robbery that he didn't win it. But again, for me, I'm gonna put that's the first one that's gonna go in De La robbery. We're finally past like the Messi Ronaldo bulk era, where it's just like these guys had historic seasons but couldn't win it, and now we're more to the part where they weren't winning it every single year. And like they weren't finishing first or second, just alternating. So for me, Ronaldo in 2018 should have won the Ballon d'Or. He should have won it over Luka Modric 100%. Next up, we have Virgil van Dijk in the calendar year of 2019. In 2019, Virgil van Dijk played 59 games. He had 7 goals and 2 assists in those games. But again, nobody cares. He's a center back. We're not judging him off GA. The most insane stat about Virgil van Dijk this season is that he went 65 consecutive games without getting dribbled past. Nobody dribbled past him in 65 consecutive games.
And most of this comes into the style of defender that he is, and that's honestly just a personal taste thing because what Van Dijk does is I call them warrior center backs and pretty boy center backs. And Virgil van Dijk is the best a pretty boy center back can be. He's like Rafael Varane, where he'll step back. He'll step back onto a defender from an attacker, and then he'll allow either one of his other partners in defense, either from the midfield or a center back, to go up and engage, and that attacker will make a move, and then he will make a move to react and steal the ball away, or he'll keep backing off the attacker, and then you know the attacker will probably make a mistake, and he can fight on that. He's also fast and he's strong, but this kind of, I mean, you've seen the videos. It's like in the Champions League final 2022 where he should have slid over to Mark Valverde because there was no one around. He really should have done an engaged Valverde to stop the cross. He just backs off and lets the cross happen because that's what he does. There's moments where he's done that and then that person just shoots and scores a worldie. I think Lautaro Martinez did that in Inter Liverpool game, the Champions League. And so that dribbling statistic gets skewed because you have other center backs that will go into the fray, make the tackles, make this, do that. But they always run into the chance that they're gonna get cooked. They're just gonna get cooked, and they take that chance, and Van Dijk steps off. And again, it's a personal taste thing, but I never took much stock into that dribbling thing because it's just how he defends, and it's not better or worse. It just is. You know what I mean?
Nobody. And he also won, obviously, the UCL, and he won the Club World Cup. Van Dijk was ridiculous in 2019. I think it's the greatest center back season that I've ever seen. And Van Dijk, honestly, might be the best center back that I've ever seen in his peak. He might be the best center back that I've ever seen in his peak. There's a reason why he finished only 7 points off winning the Ballon d'Or. 7 points off Messi. But again, to me, he's just a victim of the alien era. That's the first one that's going to go into that tier. That is the perfect definition for Virgil van Dijk in 2019. He's just a victim to the fact that Messi was born around the same time as him. And they both were professional footballers in the same era. Because unfortunately for Van Dijk, Messi was just better. And yes, Van Dijk won the UCL. And yes, Liverpool knocked off Barcelona in the UCL. But when you're coming up against 2019 Messi, who in my humble opinion is the most complete version of any player we've ever seen, and you're a center back, it's going to be tough for you to win it. But that should tell you how good Van Dijk was, man. This guy finished second in Ballon d'Or to Messi in 2019 and was only 7 points off winning it. 65 consecutive games. Nobody got past him. Won the UCL. Was fantastic in that UCL final. That final performance in Madrid is one of the most underrated all-time great performances of all time by a center back. I mean, that final performance in Madrid, and him and Mata, by the way, both of them, insanely good. But again, he's just a victim of Messi and the fact that Messi was around at that time. And you're not going to win it over Messi. You're unfortunately not going to win it over Messi. So I love Virgil van Dijk, but in 2019, I just can't give him the Ballon d'Or. Next up, we have Robert Lewandowski. When the calendar year of 2021 played 59 games, he had 69 goals and 11 assists. Robert Lewandowski, okay, he won the Bundesliga. He won the FIFA Club World Cup. They won the Super Cup, I'm pretty sure, too. There's an argument to be made. He should have won it in 2021. He should have won it in 2020. That wasn't even a robbery. FIFA just didn't give out the award. Or France Football didn't give out the award. If they would have given it out, Robert Lewandowski would have a Ballon d'Or. Robert Lewandowski is a Ballon d'Or winner. We all know he is. He is a Ballon d'Or winner. He doesn't have the award at his house. He's a Ballon d'Or winner. And this season, again,
He's a Schrodinger's Ballon d'Or winner. He's a Ballon d'Or winner when I need him to be one, and he's not one when I'm doing the Benzema debates. So Schrodinger's Ballon d'Or winner.
69 goals and 11 assists. That's 70 GA.
Also, that's actually not completely true because he did score 69 goals in 2021. But the thing is, the Ballon d'Or cut it off around like October for some reason. So yeah, he had like 50 whatever. So that's actually what he had. Yeah, he had like 50 whatever. The Ballon d'Or was done in like October, and they cut it off then and there, which is like, why? What are you doing? And I think they were transitioning over to the 21-22, but like for the for the seasonal, so it was going to be the 21-22 Ballon d'Or, but so the that Ballon d'Or also had stats that would have overlapped with this one, so why not just do both? I don't know. Again, like I said before, the Ballon d'Or has never really been a yearly award. It's always kind. To be fair, it has been a yearly award sometimes. Like in 2013, for example, it was a yearly award. So it depends. I don't know. I prefer seasonal, anyways.
In 59 games in a calendar year, it's insane, man. I mean, it's just crazy what he did. And of course, Bayern weren't as good as they were the year before, where they won the treble, but they still won a bunch of trophies. But Messi was really good this year, right? So
Um, I think I saw this. Yeah, yeah, I actually have seen this video before, and the reason why I decided to make this video is because I'm gonna let this play out. I'm gonna let a couple more play out, and then I'll get back to this point because it's a very intentional thing that he does in right in this section that he's going to not mention. Come, just wait. I'll get to it.
do I think it was a robbery? I don't think it was a robbery. Again, I think Lewandowski's just a victim of the alien era, where Messi went and won Argentina their first World Cup, their first Copa America in years, their first major trophy in over 30 years. Messi did that for Argentina. He did that for Argentina. And that means something. And that's relevant because Messi was the best player in that tournament. And it's an international tournament. And yeah, you want to say it's the Copa America. They beat Brazil in that final. And again, Messi was amazing. And while Lewandowski was great, he was playing for a Bayern team that, it doesn't compare to what Messi was working with at Argentina or with Barcelona, where he won the Copa del Rey, by the way. Messi won a trophy with Barcelona. He won the Copa del Rey and he won the Copa America. So Messi won two major trophies that year. His numbers were great. He was the best player on that team. Lewandowski was the best player on his team. But to me, again, it's just he's a victim of Messi. If Messi wasn't around, he would have won it. I don't think it was a robbery, though. I just personally don't think it was a robbery that Lewandowski didn't win it in 2021. The same way I don't think it was a robbery that Van Dijk didn't win it in 2019. I think both of those guys had great seasons. If Messi didn't exist, they'd win it. Great all-time seasons. Lewandowski won it in 2020, but Messi being around and Messi winning the trophies that he won, of course, in 2019. 2021 and 2019 for Messi is different. In 2019, he was by far and away the best player in the world. Barcelona won La Liga, but it wasn't like, and obviously they lost the Copa del Rey final and everything collapsed after Anfield, but Messi was the best player in the world, and in 2021, Messi was still the best player in the world, but, he won those two trophies to go along with it. Lewandowski had the better numbers, but he wasn't better than Messi. Messi had, Messi, like, his contributions to that Barca team and the carry job that he had with that Barcelona team, similar to 2019, you got to take it into account. You know what I mean? So for me, I think Leo was great in 2021. He should have won it in 2020, but he's just a victim of the alien era of Messi and Ronaldo. And this time around, he lost it to Messi. Next up, we have Sadio Mane in 2022. And of course, now we're not talking about calendar year stats. We're talking about season stats because this is when the award and the criteria for the voting change. So now we're not looking at calendar year. We're looking at seasons, right? With Sadio Mane finished second to Karim Benzema, of course, in 2022, 2021, 2022. Sadio Mane in this season, he won AFCON, of course. He won the FA Cup. He won the EFL Cup with Liverpool. He played 67 games.
Quick stuff. Yeah, he knocked out Mo Salah in AFCON, but he also, I think he directly was the guy who scored the penalty to knock out Egypt from World Cup qualifiers. So he got Mo Salah twice that year. The key part here, Kylian Mbappe finished like seventh, and Vinicius Jr. also finished around that. I think he was like fifth. So which is like that's probably the big thing in 2022. Let's see. I think Ronaldo was like what 15th. Messi didn't get nominated. And again, we'll get to that as to why he didn't get nominated when he's about to talk about Erling Haaland.
96-7. He had 33 goals and 8 assists, so 41 goal contributions in 67 games. Really, really good numbers from Sadio Mane, who also won AFCON. Did I mention that? He won the AFCON, of course, in January of 2022. So Sadio Mane was fantastic, an extremely underrated player. Look, I think he's a default runner-up though because yeah, look, 33 goals and 8 assists, and look, if Liverpool would have won the quadruple and they would have beat Real Madrid in Paris, he gets the Ballon d'Or. He gets it over Mohamed Salah, okay, because he finished second. And Sadio Mane was fantastic this year. I don't want to poo-poo what he did. But when you look at what Karim Benzema did, he was never going to not win it. Karim Benzema won La Liga, and he had arguably the greatest UCL run in history. Like Karim Benzema in 2021, 2022 had one of the greatest UCL runs, maybe the greatest UCL run by a player I've ever seen in my life. The guy was unplayable. He was unplayable. So I don't think this is an elite season. I don't think it goes in the same tiers. Look, 33 goals and 8 assists is great. The numbers that these fucking guys are putting up in elite by no argument are way different than Sadio Mane. And I love Sadio Mane, but again, Liverpool were on track to win a quadruple. It obviously all came crashing down when they lost the Premier League. Of course, Man City were down to Aston Villa, and then they came back and won that game thanks to Ilkay Gundogan, and then obviously Liverpool lost the final in Paris because Courtois was on crack that day, and Madrid won that. On a 1-0 after a goal from Vinicius Jr. in the second half, a pass from Federico Valverde. Anyway, we know the story, right? We know the whole story, but I love Sadio Mane. I think he's an incredibly underrated player. Obviously amazing to win AFCON with Senegal and won the EFL Cup and FA Cup, like I said. But to me, he's going to go in the default runner-up because I don't think that season is that good, and Karim Benzema was always going to win because the season was that good. Next up, we have Erling Haaland. In the 2022-2023 season, Erling Haaland's first full season out of Germany and in the Premier League with Man City, Erling Haaland played 57 games. He had 56 goals and 9 assists. He broke the single-season scoring record in the Premier League in his first season. Okay, he broke that record in his first season in the Prem. He won the Continental Treble, of course, but his team did not make it to the World Cup. Norway were not in Qatar. In Qatar was the guy who won the World Cup. Of course, how can you win it if you're not? In Qatar was Messi in Argentina, who of course ended up winning the World Cup. Now, Erling Haaland, 56 goals and 9 assists is amazing. But if you remember that season, Erling Haaland wasn't that decisive in the final few months. That's
And this is the key part because this is where he does something really nasty. Because he says, or he's going to say, I stopped actually right here to make this, but he's going to say that, Erling Haaland didn't show up in the big moments. He didn't show up in the semis. He didn't show up in the final. And Messi showed up in the World Cup. But, ooh, that's so nasty. That's so nasty. Because he forgets in 2021, when he's talking about Robert Lewandowski, 2021 Lionel Messi didn't show up in big games. He actually, weird enough, Messi's last GA against Real Madrid came against Ronaldo in his last Clasico. So that's interesting. But Messi didn't score against Real Madrid in 2021. He didn't score, really, I forget. Actually, I'm not gonna completely say that one. But most importantly, in the Champions League, so Barcelona loses 4-1 to PSG in the first leg. Mbappe scores a hat trick. In the second leg, Mbappe scores a penalty. Because I watched this game live, it was so interesting. Well, it wasn't that interesting of a game, but again, so Mbappe scores a penalty. So PSG's up 5-2 against Barcelona. Messi scores a wonder goal. I think with his actually right foot, so his weak foot. Scores a wonder goal from I think maybe like 25, 20, 30, maybe 30, I don't know. 30 yards out. And then on the stroke of halftime, Barcelona get a penalty. Barcelona gets a penalty and Messi misses it. He misses it. He misses the pen. And this could have, like, Barcelona was playing quite well in that game. PSG looked kind of on the ropes, which would foreshadow their eventual downfall at the hands of Man City in the semifinals. Because that midfield was just, never mind, I'm not going to get into that. I already deviated as much as I wanted to. But yeah, so Messi misses the penalty. On the stroke of halftime, Barcelona could have gotten up 2-0. Um, PSG is what 5-3 now. Your team's already performing better than they are, and this and that and this and that. And Messi missed the penalty. And he's going to not mention that in 2021. He's also not going to mention how Messi's first, Messi's performances in the PSG shirt for the 2021 Ballon d'Or, but he will mention it here to justify Erling Haaland losing this one. And that's, you know what I mean? You got to understand, this guy's a Barcelona Messi fan. I'm not saying that's why he's saying it, but in anything, even with this video, what I'm saying, you have to understand why people are saying things, who they are, why they're saying it, and when are they not saying some certain things that should be said. And to say that Erling Haaland deserved to lose his Ballon d'Or because he didn't show up in big games, and say that Messi deserves his Ballon d'Or in 2021, this is incongruent. And you could say Messi won Copa America. He faced no good teams. The one good team he faced was Brazil. All right, South America has been weak for a long time. There probably hasn't been 3 good South American teams concurrently since 2011, where 2010, 2011 were Brazil, Argentina kind of, and Uruguay were all good. So in 2021, there are only 2 good teams in CONMEBOL. Is Argentina, and it's what's his face? Uh, Brazil. Messi's opponents in the knockout stages were Ecuador and Colombia. And Colombia didn't qualify for the 2022 World Cup. And Ecuador got grouped. Yes, they were in a group with Senegal and the Netherlands, but still, it was a group that they probably should have made it out of. Because Senegal didn't have Sadio Mane. Like, he was injured. He didn't play that World Cup. So, you know what I mean? And if you watch that final against Brazil, you would know that. I mean, I saw that final. I live in the States. I hate watching. I'm just watching. It was around 10 p.m. for me. And deep into the 85th minute, Argentina's 1-0 up. Brazil hasn't been able to really create a goal-scoring action. And that game was really a revelation for me in my understanding of football, but that's a video for another time. But Messi's about to ice the game. And this is where stats hide things, because big chances missed only count when you actually shoot the ball. So if you never shoot the ball, you can never actually really miss a big chance. But Messi in the 85th minute, 1v1 against Allison, he's going to do what he's always going to do. He's going to run the keeper and slot it in. He's done this a million times, and he chokes. He trips over his own feet. The moment is too big for him, and he folds. He folds. He capitulates because he's under too much pressure. And Allison picks up the ball. And I already didn't want Argentina to win just because, I want Brazil to win. I like Brazil. I like Neymar. I like Messi. I'm a Ronaldo fan. I don't want Argentina to win anything ever. I dislike the entire national team. Always have and always will. But that's when I was like, oh my God, I really do hope Brazil win now, because this would be so funny. And it would be a catastrophic moment for his career. That's, a little bit of the hater in me. But importantly, that was the one good team that he faced that tournament, and he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything, and he had the chance to ice the game, and he blew it. He blew it. He blew it because he choked. So to mention Erling Haaland's poor big game record, which it was poor, to justify his loss of the Ballon d'Or, and not mention Messi's poor big game performances in the Lewandowski one, you know what I mean? You have to understand why people say things, what they say, most importantly, what they don't say. And that's, you'll find things here. I think this has been always a valid one. Not just the penalties. Honestly, Argentina got a lot of hate in this World Cup because of referee biases, and you know what? Yeah, they deserved it. But most importantly, people talk about the Egypt disallowed goal and whatever. It was fairly disallowed. I mean, it was soft call, but it was a foul. But mostly, it's the little things. How Cuti Romero gets his yellow card, the first one in the semis, and this and that and this and that and this and that, that ultimately kept. And you could say those are little things, but it does matter because Cuti Romero is a very aggressive center back, and if he gets a yellow card against Cabo Verde that you should have gotten, because he just grabs a Cabo Verde player at the beginning of the game, by the way, to stop a counterattack, that's a tactical foul, an overt one, in front of the referee, doesn't get anything for it. But that changes everything, because he can't not only go hard in this game, he can't go hard in the next game, because he will be suspended for the quarterfinal. So it matters a lot. And he's really dismissive of the penalty thing, but there's no way you could go watch the penalty. Again, this one doesn't get counted because he missed. But the penalty that Argentina got against Poland is one of the worst decisions you will ever see. It is some bullshit. People talk about the Livakovic thing. I'm 50-50 on that. I really am. Di Maria dived in the final. Paredes should have gotten sent off against the Dutch. But worst of them all is a game that people won't remember because it sucked, and ultimately nothing came from it because nothing truly changed. But Argentina's penalty against Poland is one of the most diabolical things you'll ever see. If you don't believe me, just go watch it. Just go look at the penalty that they got. But to say that, yeah, I mean, also one of the greatest penalty campaigns we've ever seen. You know what I mean? I don't think so. I just don't. You know what I mean? I think just pure output, maybe, right? But I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah, no, definitely those refereeing decisions absolutely mattered. But I digress. I digress. This battle was a lot more close. To be fair, Roger did win it, but this battle really was between Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. It's a lot closer. It is more close than the Holland, what do you call it? The Holland Messi one. And frankly, it does get to a deeper conversation, right? Because I think the Ballon d'Or matters. I think the World Cup matters when the people who vote for it want it to matter. Like, Ronaldo got grouped in 2014. Messi won the World Cup final. Didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, Messi won in 2010, but second place through fifth place were there because of the World Cup. R9 won in 2002 because of the World Cup. Cannavaro won in 2006 because of the World Cup. So I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't think the World Cup, by the way, for Argentina. Like, I don't think some people, what do you call it? Some people sat in a dark room and whatever and whatever. But no, but Argentina had a different whistle. Again, I don't think you can justify. I think no one can justify that penalty against Poland. Again, it didn't matter because again, ultimately it didn't matter. But the penalty against Paredes, not penalty against Paredes, the penalty against Poland, bullshit. Paredes on a yellow card kicks the ball into the Dutch bench, start to fight. The only player who gets a yellow card is Van Dijk. Like, Di Maria dived in the final. Like, he just did. He did dive. So, nothing to, you still have to score the penalties and whatever, so whatever, who cares, really. But ultimately, while I don't think they sat in some dark room to raid the World Cup for Argentina or whatever, no. But they have a different whistle. They had a different whistle. And, you know, and these things, they don't come from nowhere. And you could say that, for people, a lot of people like to say, oh, people are human beings, propagandists, and that, and this, and that. But it was this thing I read this once, where it's like if you tell someone that they're blue, like literally their skin is blue, they'll say you're dumb and my skin's not blue. You know what I mean? Like, people are saying this about Argentina because there's valid information. No one said this about Germany when they won. No one said this about Spain. And Spain really did rob that World Cup because they scored an offside goal to knock out Portugal. One of their other goals in the knockout stage, BS, BS. And you could say it's anti-Argentine bias. Ronaldo fans are mad, but nah, man, Their whistle truly is different and was different in 2022. Again, people really hating on them in 2026. Again, no individual game was worse than Poland and the Netherlands in 2022. But I digress. To say that 2024 is daylight robbery, and not to say again, 2024 really could have been Bellingham or Vinicius Jr. And that really should, again, it is kind of daylight robbery because Rodri won it, but ultimately it's a much closer than 2022, where there is literally a Ballon d'Or in the World Cup. It's called the Golden Ball, which is what the Ballon d'Or translates to in French. It's the same award, just different names. Messi won it. He won it for the World Cup. And to say that, hey, the World Cup happens, that's all that matters. Like, well, I think then, like, what's the point? Like, what is the point ultimately of playing football for a calendar year? And I think just leading to a deeper discussion, because I personally don't care for the Ballon d'Or, but I do care because I'm making this video. You know what I mean? Like, the players care about it. Vinny cared about it. Real Madrid cared about it. Ronaldo cared about it until recently. Where I think a large part of it is because he stopped winning it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like say that, oh, he's some altruist fighting against fighting against the system. It's like, nah, he stopped winning it. He got robbed in 2018, and he's mad about it, and he thinks the award now means nothing. That's fine, but ultimately, it does matter, and I really do hate that. I really do hate that it matters. I think the reason why Rodri ultimately won it is because he's a kind of, again, Rodri's a great player. I'm not gonna not say that he's a bad player, but I think he's the kind of player where people who want to feel smarter than they actually are, like him. He's a thinking man's footballer, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Oh, you like, electric wingers that are decisive in games. Oh, I like defensive midfielders that set the tempo and this and that and this and that and this and that. Look, there's a very good reason why all of the best, the most valuable players ever, whatever, are all attackers. Vinicius Junior's skills, his skill set is more important. It's more important. It's more valuable. It's better than Rodri's skill set. And Rodri won it because people, well, they wanted to feel a lot smarter than they really are. And that's all there is to it. They wanted to feel a lot smarter than they really are. And, you know, also to double back on the Messi Ballon d'Ors, there's Messi has the most Ballon d'Ors in the 20s decade, and he probably will end with the most unless I guess Rodri or Dembele win this one, because I don't think Dembele will win the next one. So yeah, unless Rodri or Dembele win two more, he will end at least joint highest, and that's very interesting because basically he won his 2021 Ballon d'Or because he won Copa America. It's a career achievement award, And the 2022 one, because he won the World Cup. It's a career achievement. Even if he had a campaign half as good as that, he would have won it anyways. And that's all there is to it. You know, it just is. Kylian Mbappe had a comparable World Cup to him. And people would like to say about Griezmann, oh, he's actually France's best. No, he's not, dude. He's not. He's not. You don't. Your team is 2-0 down. You need to come back in the World Cup final. You get hooked. You're not the best player for your team. You can't be that good because you got hooked. So, you know what I mean? He was a decent player. He was a good player for France, just not their best. Ultimately, you know, even if Messi had half the campaign he did, I'm not gonna say it was so great that you if you had the campaign. No, he was gonna win that anyways. He could have walked out of there with 3 goals and 2 assists. He would have won it anyways because it's a career achievement award. You know what I mean? There's not been 4 straight months this decade where Messi's been the best player. There hasn't. There simply hasn't. And he's won his last 2 Ballon d'Or again because of career achievement awards. And frankly, he would have won this Ballon d'Or for 2026. Had Argentina won that World Cup final, which again, see my predictions, they were never going to because Spain's on another level. But still, you know. But yeah, either way, let's keep going. Ultimately, I kind of agree with the general direction. I would put Lewandowski and Holland in daylight robbery. Ultimately, I'm not a fan of a center back, an actual center back. You know, winning the Ballon d'Or. You could say, oh, that's bias. And look, at the end of the day, yeah. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like you really, you almost won it too, which is so crazy to me. Like you're gonna give Virgil van Dijk a Ballon d'Or over Lionel Messi? Are you crazy? Yeah, no center back should ever be able to win the Ballon d'Or. Get out of here, bro. Know your role. Like know your role. You know what I mean? Like know where you belong on the food chain. Get out of here. Get out of here. Um, yeah. Aside from yeah. Ultimately, I would just move Holland and Lewandowski up to daylight robbery. Um, I don't care that Messi won Copa America. Again, I've hashed that out. I don't care that he won the World Cup. Sorry, his Liga season not impressive enough. And also he plays in Liga, so doesn't I don't care. I don't care. You have to have a truly ungodly World Cup for me to care. And frankly, also Argentina, I'm not gonna say that they got the easy side of the bracket, but I will say that if they had France's path to the final, they don't go to the final. So, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have easy games per se. It's not their fault that Brazil blew it against Croatia. It's really not. But ultimately, if they have France's path to the final, they're not going to the final. So, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I've truly never really rated the Argentine national team. But then again, I've also really never rated Didier Deschamps and the French national. I don't know why I'm saying this now. It's probably a different video, but yeah, I called. I'm gonna say I predicted Argentina to beat France 2-0 in the World Cup final with a Di Maria goal. And guess what? guess what? Di Maria man of the match. I mean, he was my man of the match. I don't know how Messi won. I mean, I know how he won it, but I would have personally given it to Di Maria anyways. But yeah, aside from this, I think he's directionally correct for most of it. Um, yeah, yeah. Holland and Lewandowski have to be in daylight robbery. Like Copa America, I'm sorry, I just don't really respect the tournament. I don't care. CONMEBOL is it's just it hasn't been good for so long, and I like it's a career achievement award at the end of the day for Messi, and like you know what I mean. It's like if you're gonna do that, well then have like Zinedine Zidane come back and have him win the Ballon d'Or this year. I don't know. Either way, ultimately though, directionally correct, directionally correct. Um, yeah, yeah, directionally correct. I think he's directionally correct.